Good day, students. Today we're going to be looking at the Mendel's law of genetics. This is a good news for every student because you cannot escape this law in your external exam. So, Gregor Mendel propounded two laws, and I'm going to be explaining each of the laws. So, the first law is called the law of segregation of alleles. Now repeat after me. The law of segregation of allele. For the last time, the law of segregation of allele. The second law is called the law of independent assortment. Together, let's say together, the law of independent assortment of allele. So you memorize the law, then we are going to look at the explanation of the laws. So let's look at the first law, the law of segregation of alleles. The law of segregation of alleles. From the word segregation, that is, the alleles are going to separate. When I say the alleles, what you should come to your mind now, it means the gene. And what should come to your mind now means the letters. The letters. You know, the last class I was separating the two letters and I was bringing a circle around them before I crossed them. And that is what is called, you are segregating the alleles. Are you there? So the law of segregation of alleles states that during meiosis, that is during sexual reproduction, the alleles will separate, and each of the allele separates, and each of the allele will enter into separate gametes. That is the good news. Very simple. You are going to be told in your external exam to explain the Mendelian laws. So the first one is law of segregation of allele. Segregation means the allele will separate. We have defined that for you. Allele will separate, and each of the allele will enter into a separate gamete. And this takes place during meiosis. Okay, should I write that for you? Okay, you say during meiosis, perfect. Alleles, or you say the alleles separate, and each of them enters into a separate gamete. So can we picture this, or can I give you the picture? So we have big letter R, this one allele, small letter r is another allele. Are you there? So we want to form the gamete now. So each of the allele will enter into a separate gamete. Okay, so one gamete, that is the big R, and another gamete, that is the small r. Please, if you are told to explain this in exam, you have to give the examiner the illustration. Very important. Now let's go to the second law. That is the law of independent assortment. Law of independent assortment of allele. Now, from the word assortment means arrangement. Independent means the allele, when they are arranging themselves, they arrange themselves independently. Or we say that the alleles arrange themselves in such a way that they are independent of each other. Very simple. Okay, let's define that. The alleles arrange themselves in such a way that they are independent. We're going to take arrangement is already showing arrange themselves in such a way that they are independent. So what do we mean? What do we mean? And this also occurs during meiosis, okay? It also occurs during meiosis. And when you write that for the examiner, you're going to give the examiner the confidence to understand that you know what you're doing. Now let us illustrate. At the metaphase of the meiosis, don't forget that the chromosomes will align at the center, at the equator in the metaphase stage of the meiosis. Don't forget that. Okay, so let's draw the first cell. Okay, and let us have the equator here. Let's have the equator. Now, let us have the homologous chromosome. Let's have the homologous chromosome here. Another one here. So, let us paint this of the same height. Let's have another chromosome here for another trait. This is for one trait. Let's say color. Okay, and this is for another trait. Okay, let us paint this. Okay, that is good. So what does this represent? This can represent our big R. This is small r. This represents our, let's say, big Y, okay, and small y. Okay, let us define what we mean by a big R and small r. So the big R represents red, okay, while the alternative form of red is going to be what? Is going to be white. So small r represents white. For the Y now, the big Y represents yellow. The alternative form is going to be small y, which represents the green. So this is just for you to understand what I'm doing. Now, the chromosome can arrange itself like this. In another way, it can also arrange itself like this. At the equator as usual. So we draw the first chromosome. The first chromosome. The big R, don't forget. Okay, we draw the second chromosome, the small r. Now, because they are independent, they have an independent arrangement. It can either be this and this or this and this. So this coming here now. So we have the small y coming here, and we have the big Y coming in. So this is what Mendel explained by saying law of independent assortment. I'm sure you have gotten this class very well. In the next class, we're going to be talking about important terms in genetics. Goodbye.